It is my honor to introduce the mayor of the city of Fort Saskatchewan, Mayor Gail Katcher. Gail spent 17 years working for the city of Fort Saskatchewan in planning and public works as an administrative coordinator prior to serving on council for the past 13 years. She also represents the city as a member of the Edmonton Metropolitan Region Board, the Fort Saskatchewan Strathcona County Intermunicipal Relations Committee, the Alberta Industrial Heartland Association, and as chair of the Edmonton Global Economic Development Board. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mayor Gail Katcher. You're muted, Mayor.
There's a couple things that I have learned from Zoom. A, don't touch buttons that you shouldn't touch. And there's a time to be muted and a time not to be muted. So thank you very much for that warm welcome and introduction. So good afternoon, chamber members, guests, and city administration. I want to thank everyone for joining myself and City Council for the 2021 State of the City Address. And I would like to thank Greg for introducing all of the elected officials who are joining us here today. And just remind everybody who our current City Council are and whether they're on here or not. We have Councillor Harris, Councillor Sperling, Councillor Macon, Councillor Abatoye, Councillor Kelly, Councillor Lennox. So thank you. We also have our leadership team who makes council look really good, including our CAO, Troy Fleming, our general managers, Heather Cowie, John Dance, and Janelle Newgood-Smith. And I'd really like to thank all the elected officials who are joining us on this presentation here today. I can tell everybody's always excited when they have an opportunity to get online and chat with somebody, and even more so when you can be outside and getting to see someone. But the fact that we're doing this virtually really shows how much things have changed from a year ago. And while it looks different, I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to represent City Council once again. So this year, I will be bringing you some updates on the city's work over the last year, and of course, some of our initiatives as we're moving into 2021. But before I begin, I really want to take a moment to stop and acknowledge how much our residents and businesses have been impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. And I know everyone joining us today has had some experienced change in the last year. And we have all had to make tremendous sacrifices and make changes. And I really want to express great sadness for those who have loved ones who have passed away or become very ill. So in addition, many people have had serious financial challenges due to job losses or business closures. And while much of this address will focus on our successes of the past year, we will always be mindful of the hardship that is still with us and likely to be here for months to come. I'm crossing my fingers. It goes faster than we expect, but we still believe it'll be here for months to come. It is said, though, that when times get tough, the tough get going. And I can say from my observation of how we have weathered this pandemic so far, that Fort Saskatchewan is indeed built tough. That's when that hammer should come down. I am proud of the way our residents, our business owners, our city staff, and our city council have worked together to meet the ever-changing rules and conditions that the coronavirus has brought our way. I want to thank the local businesses and community, specifically the Chamber of Commerce, for keeping the lines of communication open through these unusual times. When the pandemic hit in March, the city recognized immediately the challenges this was going to present for our local economy and specifically for our local businesses. By creating a formalized partnership With the Fort Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce, we were quickly and accurately able to understand the unique challenges before our businesses, what they were facing, and we were able to implement solutions to help us get past those barriers. A few of the most immediate and impactful initiatives to support local business included the implementation of the Support Your Fort campaign, allowing for deferrals of 2020 property taxes and utility bill payments with supporting unique repayment plans, additional funding for small business grants to help small businesses take their businesses online, waiving the 2021 residential business license fees, and of course, the introduction of the relaunch kits. And that's just to mention a few. We have heard from our chamber members that you were very appreciative that the city's focus on the economic situation. We know the impact the local business closures and corresponding changes in consumer spending and behaviors will have a long-lasting effect on our local economy. And we would really encourage you to continue to provide us with feedback or ideas that you have on how we can support you through these challenging times. Our economic development team, led by Mark Morrissey, are easy to contact and open to hearing from each and every one of you. And we are committed to continuing the Support Your Fort campaign well into 2021. I do want to give special thanks to the Fort Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to partner with you. And I understand this unique partnership has been noted as an ideal model by other municipalities for supporting businesses who are in crisis. From a city perspective, we have certainly been impacted greatly by the pandemic and had to endure a wide range of changes to our business operations. While many of our services the city provides are essential to the health, safety, and productivity of our community, and accommodations had to be made to ensure that no interruptions were happened in these service areas. Through all of this, I must say that our city staff have shown that they are flexible, they are innovative, and they are dedicated to their work and what they bring to this community. I often refer to the development of the skating loop at West River's Edge as an achievement that was born out of hard work and caring nature of our staff who really wanted to help the community find ways to new ways to recreate. And I know as you look at that picture, it's just incredible to see the number of people that have been out there. And it's not just the skating loop. People from the Nordic Ski Club, they're out skating. People are driving down and walking around West River's Edge through the river valley. So we're so thankful to have these kind of amenities in Fort Saskatchewan. But as with all municipalities, our organization has had to react to multiple changes to restrictions that have had to close, partially reopen, and close again, mostly affecting our culture and recreation programs. With such impacts came a total loss of revenue related to those services and the requirement for the city to lay off staff and make significant accommodations in our spending to mitigate the impacts on our bottom line, much like most of our local businesses have had to do. Despite all that, we do believe that we will finish 2020 with a small operating surplus over and above the financial support that we have been given from other levels of government. And I really want to give a shout out to the provincial and even the federal government for providing some additional funds, which will provide some stimulus to get some work done. As such, there will be no need for the city to dip into our financial sustainability fund at this point in time. We are very disappointed though, however, our culture and recreation services still remain closed and inaccessible to the general public, as we know the impact this has had to the overall health and well-being of our citizens. But this is a current reality. And even with the current openings on some of them, it still doesn't really provide us an opportunity to reopen our facilities, because with one-on-one citizen and professional participation, it doesn't provide the volumes. And that's something that we're really hoping that our residents are going to understand, the reason that we have to maintain and continue to keep these facilities closed. Now, moving forward, City Council and administration also understand governing and running a city is not just about infrastructure, but it's also about looking after our citizens. We recognize the tremendous challenges that have been placed on our individuals and families within the city, and many adjustments had to be made through our family and community support services team to help those who needed additional support. Staff did things like delivering medication and groceries to our senior citizens, creating a support line to provide emotional support, information and referrals to residents, and some of this they did after hours. Excuse me. They spearheaded a community resiliency project asking residents to share how they are staying positive and connected to others. They created Hey Neighbor check-in postcards to help residents reach out to their neighbors that may need some assistance with grocery shopping or just running an errand. So they have been hard working with many of our most vulnerable to ensure that they haven't been forgotten. City Council and administration also recognized that the important part of the social fabric and mental well-being of our community comes from our public events. Even though we were faced with restrictions that prohibited in-person social gatherings, staff worked hard to find options to create unique events that would maintain our sense of community togetherness. Some of these events included 2 drive-in movie theaters at the DCC. And I also want to give a special thanks to the Downtown Business Council for hosting one in our downtown core as well. Our staff offered outdoor fitness programs when they were permitted by the provincial guidelines. We offered a 3-day virtual Legacy Park Family Festival, which had a reach of over 8,000 people. So that just goes to show how much people really need to be connected to our community. We live stream regional concerts in collaboration with several municipalities within the region for Canada Day. We held a virtual Christmas Lights Up. And of course, we increased the number of outdoor rinks and skating loops and outdoor activities. And closing out the year, we held our Artist of the Year, who was announced as 2020 Ellen LaGrange with her beautiful wood-burning carving titled Dreamcatcher Princess. And that will be in the Dow Centennial Center for the next year. And I really encourage everybody, once the Dow is reopened again, to get out and go look at it, because it's absolutely fabulous. City Council would like to thank Culture and Recreation staff, along with others supporting city departments, for hosting these events, despite having to deal with the impacts of the pandemic. Our staff have demonstrated that they have never stopped caring about the quality of service and served our communities in the very best way they possibly could under the circumstances. So it's fair. You're probably wondering, did we do anything else besides a pandemic to get attention in 2020? The answer is yes, as the city and council did have a responsibility to still work and move our community ahead, even under these trying times. I'm pleased with the fact that despite the many challenges we faced, we still made great progress. In January, the 24-hour fire service model was launched. The community is now served by a platoon on call in the fire hall 24/7, And early indications are that we now have cut our response time to after-hour emergencies in half. And to go along with our new servicing model, we have received and commissioned 2 new fire trucks and continue to evolve the service to meet the needs of a growing city. Also in January, Council adopted the Diversity and Inclusion Plan because it's not just about being in the same space together, but rather it's about the intentional hearing everyone. The city will look at policies, procedures, and programming through a variety of lenses and in an effort to create the most inclusive, equitable services and workplace. In March, City Council approved a motion to join the application to the provincial government to form a regional transit commission. And on January 28th this year, it was officially announced that the commission has been granted legal status by the Government of Alberta. This is really good news for our region, as it will provide the opportunity for movement throughout the entire region, and it will ensure we have improved and good services that will help residents get out and reach businesses. And also, it's a great level of service when it talks to recruitment of staff. Administration and council have also been working on a new municipal development plan since last year. And this time, the city took a new approach with the focus on building the plan from the ground up and making it on a scale which people will actually experience the community. And yes, we have been told that every picture that's shown in this is a picture of Fort Saskatchewan. It builds on the existing quality of life in our community and what residents value the most. I know for myself, it truly is a plan to be proud of. And I want to thank our staff for spending so much time to make sure that they listened to our citizens and that they got it right. So congratulations, great job. There is always so much room for the community to be involved and engaged as we continue to focus on building our community for the future. And I know from my perspective, this is something that I'm really excited about, as Council has committed to having more community engagement sessions this year, and we look forward to hearing the results. So as you can see, the focus on 2020 was not only about the pandemic. We continued to move our community forward, and we continue to push ourselves further into 2021 and beyond, as there is always more work to do. City Council approved the 2021 budget based on the program-based budget format, and this was a huge step forward to make the budget document transparent and readable. Council worked to ensure that we were once again able to avoid any tax increases for 2021. And some of the highlights of the budget include the start of the automatic meter reading program. And I talk about this one because this has been a milestone for the city, because it's been 4 years in the making and will now allow us to track water consumption in real time and alerts for our customers of unusual high water consumption as it is happening right at that moment. We will be doing an incredible upgrade to the waste transfer station through the use of provincial economic stimulus grant funding, which I mentioned before. Since the transfer station was developed in 1996, the city's population has more than doubled, and the facility diverts about 850 tons of recycled materials from the landfill each year, in addition to the household hazardous materials and yard waste. The enhancements will truly set our community up for future growth. And as mentioned before, several public engagement activities are planned that will seek public input specific to the needs and preferences that our community related to the future construction of major facilities. We will be engaging the public for input on traffic calming initiatives, and asking for feedback on possible speed changes. Beach volleyball courts will be constructed at Mowat Outdoor Rink through a partnership with local users. A natural playground will be constructed in Legacy Park in partnership with Shell Canada. We anticipate work to begin on the expansion of the Lions Park campground in partnership with the Lions Club. And neighborhood road and infrastructures will continue, as it is important to ensure our infrastructure is well maintained and able to last us well into the future. And of course, although not a city project, it is exciting to watch the work underway to expand the Highway 15 bridge over the North Saskatchewan River, along with the long-awaited pedestrian path that's going to be in conjunction with that. And I love these pictures, and I want to give a shout out to Devin and to everybody who gets out there. I think they use their drones to get out there and take pictures, and we've had some go out in helicopters and take pictures, and I'm always just amazed and in awe with the construction that's happening. So construction continues, and we expect the project to be completed by 2022. And one of the most exciting aspects of this partnership is with the provincial government, the River Valley Alliance, and Sturgeon County that will see the pedestrian walkway included in the construction so that residents will finally be able to walk safely and across the river, and further enhancing our world-class trail network. It's going to be really, really excited. I can hardly wait. And there can be no doubting the importance that this bridge expansion is going to bring, not only to Fort Saskatchewan, but to the region, because we know the economic recovery must be of the highest priority to all levels of government as we emerge from the pandemic. We will continue working hard to advance our position as a leader in job creation and in investment attraction, both in our very own community as well with our regional partners at the Alberta's Industrial Heartland. In 2020, the Alberta's Industrial Heartland participated heavily with the Government of Alberta's consultation process for the Alberta Petrochemical Incentive Program, which I'll use the acronym APIP, which accumulated in a 10-year program offering by the provincial government. The program provides provincial grants to companies to construct and operate large-scale petrochemical facilities in Alberta. And given the world-scale infrastructure and industrial clustering benefits offered here in the Heartland, our region is positioned to be the destination of choice for new investments into this sector. And I know Mark Plamondon is on this call today, so I know at the end if Tamara offers any questions, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any of those. But so we know that any of these announcements will provide economic benefits throughout the city of Fort Saskatchewan and for our region. The Heartland also developed the Heartland Incentive Policy, which laid the groundwork for municipalities to provide tax exemption for new industrial developments in the Alberta's Industrial Heartland, specifically designed to complement the APIP. The City of Fort Saskatchewan and Strathcona County were leaders in being the first to move their municipal bylaws forward to implement this investment attraction tool. The Alberta's Industrial Heartland is currently working in collaboration with NCIA and the Government of Alberta to streamline the regulatory processes for the industrial zones in an effort to create a pre-approved industrial zone that will be perfect for attracting new investors to this region. And this is leading edge. We will be the first in Alberta if we can get this through. Also, the Heartland investment attraction efforts focused on petrochemical and value-added opportunities with an emphasis on diversification and sustainability initiatives that utilize the carbon capture and storage infrastructure in our region. Of particular note is hydrogen, which has the potential to play an integral role in Canada's meeting its net zero emission objectives by 2050. Some of the lowest cost, low carbon hydrogen in the world can be produced right here in the Alberta's industrial heartland. Dow Chemical formally announced in 2020 the construction of their 12th furnace for the Fort Saskatchewan site, and it is currently under construction. Their capital cost is approximately $280 million Canadian, and it is expected to be completed later this year, COVID pending. Cross our fingers. Shell Canada announced that they are one of only 6 sites across Shell's global network that will be transformed into a high-value energy chemistry park. We don't know what this means yet, but it is exciting news, and I'm always excited when there's new news out there. So we are anxiously awaiting the details, and I think it's going to be really, really exciting for this region. And IPL continues to work on their PDH facility that is just on our northern boundary, announcing a $1 billion capital program for 2021, continuing to demonstrate investor confidence in our region. Being the gateway to Alberta's industrial heartland is one of Fort Saskatchewan's greatest assets when it comes to jobs and growth in our community. Now, specific to Fort Saskatchewan, we saw encouraging signs from our real estate market. Housing starts for single-family homes are up by 14% from 2020. Average housing prices increased in 2020 over 2019 by about 0.5%. And we saw a sharp increase in the number of sold properties in 2020, almost 17% from 2019. The market is hot. And I want to give out a shout to Greg for buying that property on 101st Street. And I can hardly wait to see your Eagle Rock sign go up there. I drive by there every day, and I'm very excited about that, as it's going to be fantastic for our downtown. Well, the pandemic has slowed some new investment. We are still active in discussions with several companies about potential for new investment once the pandemic is over. Initiatives like residential hydrogen blending project, where hydrogen is being mixed with our natural gas stream, has shown the potential as an innovator and being open-minded to diversifying our economy. And another lesson that we learned throughout the pandemic is that we're all in this together. As with many other historic changes that we have faced over the years, what we've really learned is a virus has no boundaries. The importance of working together as a region is more important now than ever, despite the fact that we aren't meeting in person with our regional counterparts recently. We have all continued our intergovernmental business virtually and have a lot ahead of us with our partners as we move into 2021. To start with, Strathcona County and Fort Saskatchewan have committed to doing some work on fire response options in our new growth areas. With us having annexed lands to the south and Strathcona's future Bremner lands just to the south of our new boundary, it's important for both of our municipalities to always look for mutually beneficial partnerships so that we can avoid service overlaps and make sure that we're being as fiscally responsible as possible. We have also committed to joining the Regional Transit Commission, which will give us greater transit connectivity into the city of Edmonton and across the region. And we expect this commission will be operating sometime in 2022. Just imagine at some point in time, you'll be able to get on the bus, you'll be able to go entirely around the region and even as far out to the airport. And I know they tell me that some of that's still possible, but I think it's going to be more relevant. So you may not have to have friends and family drive you out there. It'll be more efficient. We will also continue to be active shareholders in the Edmonton Global Initiatives, meaning to give the Edmonton metropolitan area a presence on a global investment attraction stage. Fort Saskatchewan is very engaged with activities of the Edmonton Metropolitan Board and the Alberta's Industrial Heartland. And I'm very proud to be the current chair of the Edmonton Metropolitan Region Regional Transportation Master Plan Task Force, which is talking about all of our road connectivity, our transit connectivity, and making plans as we move into the future. And I'm also the chair of Edmonton Global Shareholders Group. It's always very exciting. So of course, as we move into 2022 or 2021, there is one thing that is common amongst all municipalities in Alberta, which of course is the next municipal election. The election will take place on October 18th, and we will ensure that if there is any restrictions related to the pandemic that is being put out by the provincial government, that those restrictions will be communicated well in advance to all of our citizens. So in closing, your City Council and administration understand that maintaining our city services are essential to maintaining our quality of living and health and wellness in our community. It has been an interesting balancing act over the last year, but I think we have all pulled together and done the very best that we could. And I know myself, along with our City Council and our leadership team, and all of our staff look forward to ensuring that our community continues to be proactive and well-positioned for the future. As we move in, remember to continue to care for one another, be kind to one another, and offer assistance wherever you can. We don't know how each person is struggling, and we don't know how that they're managing through this, but we know there is a struggle and people are needing help more now than ever. So remember, just be kind to each other and make sure that you ask the question when you're talking to somebody. And I'm going to say that if somebody says, I'm fine, go a little bit further, because if your wife says you're fine, you're never fine. You're in big trouble. I want to finish by expressing my appreciation to all of you, our citizens, businesses, industry, City Council, and staff who continue to navigate the Alberta Health Service regulations. I know it's been a difficult time, but remember, support your fort is not just a tagline, but a shared commitment to one another. We will get through this, and we will come out stronger-eyed. It is the Fort Saskatchewan way. Thank you for your attention. Have a great rest of the day. And just remember, stay healthy and look out for one another. Thank you.